One last take. I'm tired. 3, 2, 1, action. Hello everyone, I'm Jello, and today I'll discuss the documentary 11103, which shares the stories of victims during martial law under the Marcos regime. I'll highlight key experiences and explain how the film helps us remember the events and lessons from that period of time. Question number 1. What is your most relevant takeaway from this documentary? An important takeaway is how laws were manipulated to control and oppress people. For instance, Aurora Parong was arrested without real proof for allegedly helping the NPA or New People's Army. Her brother, Manong Pepe, a lawyer aiding victims, was also tortured and killed by the government. Similarly, Ed De La Torre was jailed and tortured for organizing farmers. The government labeled activists like him as criminals, justifying their arrests and torture. This ties in to our understanding of deviance. Those challenging the government were seen as breaking social norms, even though they were just fighting for justice. Question number 2. What specific lessons from your UCSP classes can you see from this documentary? A key lesson from UCSP evident in this documentary is the manipulation of laws by those in power. Laws are meant to protect people, but in this case, they were used to allow torture, warrantless arrests, and even violence. This is clear in the story of Chris Palabay, who was kidnapped, beaten, and tortured by the military. His brothers Romulo and Armando faced similar fates. I also see this in Hilda Narciso's story, where she was falsely accused of being a communist, then raped and tortured by the soldiers. This shows how laws can be abused to control those who resist. Another lesson is socialization, the process where people learn from societal values and norms. During martial law, the government tried to re-socialize people using controlled media and misinformation. Aurora Parong shared how the government controlled the news and arrested anyone spreading the rumors. This demonstrated how institutions like the government and media were used to enforce obedience and suppress opposition. The Barangay Malisbang massacre is another example. 80 Muslim men were killed in front of their families, and many women were assaulted by soldiers. This shows how deviance, in this case belonging to a marginalized group, was punished to maintain control. Our lesson on social conflict theory explains this. Those in power oppress the powerless to sustain their dominance. Question number 3. How does this documentary help in preserving the memory of martial law in our nation's consciousness? The documentary 11103 is crucial for remembering the truth about martial law, especially against the current misinformation about it. It allows survivors like Ed De La Torre to share their stories of being tortured for standing up for justice, serving as symbols of resistance against abuse of power. Similarly, Hilda Narciso continues to speak about her experiences of sexual violence. Her story, along with the accounts from the Barangay Malisbang massacre, ensures that these acts of brutality are not forgotten. The documentary reminds us of the conflict between the people and those in power, preserving these memories to prevent history from repeating itself. In conclusion, 11103 helps us understand the real impact of martial law and connects deeply with our UCSP lessons. The stories of individuals like Aurora, Chris, Ed, Hilda, and the victims of the Barangay Malisbang massacre highlights how laws can be abused, how deviance was punished, and how the powerful oppressed the powerless. Remembering these stories is vital to learning and ensuring that such events never happen again. Thank you for listening, and never forget. They said I would build a legacy. Picture me with influence that lasts generations. I was made out of love to keep you happy and educated.